Kentucky's had enough. You dirty, dirty rebels, get out of Kentucky! Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And this week, Prospector, good news. Union wins a bunch of victories.
Oh,
this
the
week.
war's over.
No, don't.
We won the war.
Don't.
You said.
I said. You,
Lincoln rules. Jackson rules.
Lincoln,
I told you the war is over.
Well,
I told you to be sure. That's amazing. Are the slaves all free? No, it's not. It's not over.
It's not over. We got victories, though. We got
victories. What? Okay. All right. Well, all right. Tell me about those.
All right, Johnny. This week opens up on September 6th, 1861, with General Grant landing 2 wooden gunboats, a handful of transports at Paducah, Kentucky. Not a shot is going to be fired. Not a casualty is going to be had. This is a bloodless victory where the Union now has a stronghold in Kentucky.
So they just surrendered and left?
Well, no, they're welcomed in. There's no Confederates there, and we're pretty much welcomed in open arms at Paducah, Kentucky.
Okay, I was gonna say because I knew it was neutral. I thought maybe there were some Confederates. So we arrived in town, and they're like, you know what? Maybe we like you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe all of the weapons and soldiers and everything we brought had anything to do with it?
It could have. But you got to remember that this is in response to the Confederates violating Kentucky's neutrality last week. Yeah. And so this is to ensure that the Confederates can't claim...
And so we're going to protect Kentucky now.
Yeah. They can't claim...
We're the heroes.
Yeah, they can't claim Kentucky in its entirety, and it gives us a stronghold. So basically now the north-south line, at least in Kentucky, is that Ohio River line. We've got the Ohio River wrapped up.
Okay, that's good news. Yeah.
Later in the afternoon, Lincoln is going to move troops to Smithland at the mouth of the Cumberland. So again, another chunk of land taken, around Kentucky. Kentucky, Cumberland.
I made my sign, so I
you lost your bet. We're around Kentucky.
We're good.
We're good.
So we're still in Kentucky, and he's moving more troops to take more territory.
Basically,
just create a bigger.
Yeah, basically we've got a stronghold along the northwestern part of Kentucky. Look at our map from last week. I got a dot, but I'll put another dot up there to where we're at. These 2 moves do prevent Confederates from claiming the whole state and do set up our northern line, like I said, at the Ohio River. On the 7th, Grant is going to move his headquarters back to Cairo, Missouri, leaving Brigadier General C.F. Smith in control of the Kentucky units. So he's leaving Kentucky. Mission accomplished. I got what I want accomplished there. Going back to Missouri to try to get things under control in Missouri.
I mean, someone's got to. I assume it's still kind of a shit show out there.
Yeah, it's still a shit show out there. That's right, Johnny. On the 8th, Traitor President Jefferson Davis, who is a drooling monster, is concerned with the growing front and many areas of our operations. It is now not Virginia. It is extending across the entire border between North and South. There are substantial northern troops and activity everywhere. Now, granted, the Confederates did have some good victories at Manassas. They did have some good victories over in Springfield, Missouri. But Davis is looking at his troops and looking at his equipment, realizing, I don't know how effective this is going to be. He writes a letter to General Joseph E. Johnson at Manassas stating, and I quote, "The cause of the Confederacy is staked upon your army. I have felt and feel that time brings many advantages to the enemy and wish we could strike him in his present condition. But it has seemed to me to involve too much probability of failure to render the movement proper without present means. Had I the requisite arms, the argument would soon be changed." So essentially, he's writing Johnson and saying, we don't have the guns to really take over what we need to take over. We need to hit him quickly.
Right. Really, really wish we could hit him now, but we ain't got the stuff to do it, essentially. And so which is our plan, is to make them not have the supplies that they need in order to do the things that they need. And so it's successful, and essentially what you're saying is not this week, but next.
So General Scott...
Because they're admitting now that they can't fight. They can't do the things that they need to do to win.
So we have
continue this.
So we have the President of the Confederacy saying that we don't have the arms to do what we need to do. Time is not on our hands. If we don't strike now, we're going to lose, but we don't have the arms to strike now. And again, General Scott, the head commander... The head commander of these federal forces has said the Anaconda Plan. He put it This is what we're doing.
Yeah,
This is what we're doing.
it's worked.
We're just
That's
trying to
yeah.
strangle him out.
Ding,
And
ding, ding.
and it's
We
working.
win.
So I hope that President Davis, now that he realizes that he doesn't have the arms to do this, would just go, all right, screw it. Like, let's try to negotiate some kind of peace. But
Well, that's what a logical, smart, good leader would do. So
we'll see how that...
expect the opposite.
We'll see. Yeah, there you go. On the 9th, Lincoln will send Major General David Hunter to advise General Fremont in Missouri, hopefully getting that situation back under control. Lincoln is not happy with Fremont and is basically sending Hunter out there not to take over, but to act as an advisor that strongly is advising what Lincoln wants. Wink, wink, wink. These are suggestions only. Wink, wink, wink.
Yeah, I suggest you do this or you will be fired and possibly drugged behind a carriage.
Yeah, more skirmishes in Western Virginia occur, a.k.a. Kanawha, the proposed state. And there's much speculation of a large battle about ready to occur in the Kanawha region because these skirmishes just continue. We talked about them the last several weeks, just pot shots
all right,
fire.
so yeah, it's a bubbling pot getting ready to boil over, basically.
Yep, and that boil over happens on the 10th of September with the engagement at Carnifex Ferry on the 10th. General Rosecrans was going to send a force against Confederates stationed at Carnifex Ferry. So basically, Confederates moved in the Kanawha region, tried to set up an outpost there to regain some control of Western Virginia. Union forces, with its 5,000 men under General Rosecrans, has superior artillery and numbers. They're going to try several frontal assaults against the 2,000 troops under John B. Floyd. These assaults are limited in successfulness. They don't push the Confederate troops out. They're not very successful. But what they do is the increased artillery strikes on those positions convince Floyd that his position there is hopeless, and he has to retreat that night and move all of his forces out of the Kanawha Valley. So it is a victory, but a strategic victory.
You know what, Tommy? You keep saying that we're going to have these victories and the Union's doing good things and everything. You've yet to come up with one that hasn't felt awfully hollow.
Yeah, this is a hollow one. Hey, but it's a victory. We still got it. It's good.
I mean, yes, but not because we did anything, because they realized, oh, well, if they actually figured out how to use their artillery effectively, we would be fucked. And so we're out. Well, like, it wasn't, we were using it effectively and then they left.
Yeah, all right. Well, hey, it's a victory.
Can we get some training?
Hey, look, if you win a game by 1 point, you still won that game, regardless. So
if you won the game by forfeit, you mean?
Sure. Still a
win's a win.
Still a win. Win's a win. The Union is going to have 17 killed and 141 wounded versus Confederate losses of 30 wounded and unknown number killed. We don't really have a number on that, but 30 were wounded. So this is lopsided casualties.
Maybe if we knew how many there were killed.
Yeah, lopsided on our front from how
many.
Could be 2. Yeah, could be 2. Could be 20. Who knows? Reports are flooding in to squash this victory that Robert E. Lee is going to move his forces into Cheat Mountain in the Western Virginia Kanawha area.
Now, this is the guy that retired, right?
This guy that retired that came back to fight for the Confederates. And while all this is going on, Johnny, while all these battles, the Union victories going on here, Miss Fremont, General Fremont's wife, she's going to arrive in Washington, D.C., demand to meet with Lincoln, and demand that he treat her husband better and support his emancipation and confiscation order. This is your imagine your wife going up to meet the president and be like, you're treating him awful. Treat him better.
Oh, my God. Oh my God!
Lincoln meets with her.
Mom, stop! Like, what are you doing? You can't go to the president and tell him to support my Emancipation Proclamation. I already did it. We'll get the support we need, honey. You have to stay here. I'm gonna go fight. And then she was off to Washington.
Yeah, to go to
tell him about it. My God, what a. I mean, Lincoln, did he arrest her?
From what I'm hearing,
I assume
no.
He locked her up. Dungeons.
No, although that's still, we're definitely still doing all of that this week. The whole suppression of the newspapers and arresting.
I mean, why would we stop? It's going so well.
No, but what he does take her. Yeah, he does listen. Yep, okay, I'll listen to what she has to say. And he allegedly listened to her calmly. He was like, okay, do you feel better?
No. I don't think it's ever been said before.
No, he doesn't.
Since it is the 1800s, but behind every strong man is a strong woman. I would say.
Well, at least for General Fremont,
Like,
that is. Although she doesn't
take off.
Lincoln is still like, yeah, I'm still sending Hunter, and we're gonna have to modify your husband's order because we can't just go around changing law, which is hilarious coming from Lincoln. You can't go around changing law, but I can. Yeah, that's what he's just mad.
That's all he's been doing for the past month.
He's mad it wasn't his idea. This week, Johnny, it's gonna begin to come to an end on the Cheat Mountain with the beginning of the Cheat Mountain campaign. So on the 11th, General Lee is going to start to move his 5,000 men to Cheat Mountain into 5 separate columns. So he splits his 5,000 men into 1,000 groups each, and his goal is to surround General J. Reynolds, who's up on top of Cheat Mountain. So his goal is here, I'm going to split.
So he's on top of a mountain. He's going to split up around and go up all the, ski trails? Or
yeah, basically, yeah. Well, General Lee is going to quickly learn that there's the top of a mountain's hard to get to. It's a mountain. It's a mountain. Hard to get up there. And when you split your army into 5 separate groups, communication is key. And telegraph lines aren't ran between each one of them, so you have to have some.
You don't say.
You have to have some poor.
They don't hook it onto a rock and fling it over the mountain to get to the other
So you have
side.
to have some poor staff person like me, try to run. And I'm not running very fast or very far. Giving messages.
You're not
across.
running at all.
No, I'm not running at all. The hell with that. I don't run. That's why I got to the staff officer position, so I don't have to march and I don't have to run. I don't have to do any of that garbage.
Shit.
So on the 11th, he starts to move his troops. On the 10th, he loses all of his surprise because his movements are observed by John Reynolds when Colonel Albert Rust fails to attack, which was supposed to be the general signal for the full Confederate assault. So Lee puts in charge Albert Rust to do the assault, and once everybody hears the bangity bangity bangities, we're all going to attack at the same time.
Okay.
But that never happens.
And he didn't get to that.
Yeah, he didn't get to that.
Why? Did he just sprain his ankle?
Cowards out. There's a few skirmishes around Cheat Mountain. The reports are coming in from some of the captured Union soldiers that there are a hell of a lot more than just 3,000 men on top of Cheat Mountain. There isn't. There isn't. And so General Lee's like,
just a little tomfoolery there. We got him.
We got him.
There's 10,000 of us. All here waiting for you. And then they just fell.
And the little bit of fighting that did happen, General Reynolds' troops did a pretty good job of kicking back the Confederate troops there. So at least as far as
they're on top of a mountain.
They're on top of a mountain,
to climb a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. So at least at the beginning of this whole campaign on the 12th, it doesn't look to be going very, very well for the Confederates. We'll find out how well that goes as next week progresses. But we do have one more major point here at the end of this week is that out in Missouri.
Okay. Did we calm some shit down?
No, we have the start of the siege of Lexington, Missouri, where Confederate forces under General Price are going to outnumber and quickly push aside the Union forces under Colonel James Mulligan. Mulligan does set up a defensive. Yeah, it's bad. He sets the defensive up in Lexington City itself, and we'll see how that plays out next week. But my very, very final point, what I started off with our intro, is Kentucky's state convention is going to meet. Their state legislator is going to propose they're going to have 2 proposals. The first proposal does not pass, and that is to ask both Union and Confederate troops to leave the state of Kentucky. Does not pass.
Could you all kindly...
Fuck off, yeah. No, that doesn't go over well. That actually gets denied. The Kentucky state legislature says, no, we're not.
We're like, no.
Yeah, we're like, no. The Kentucky state legislature now has proven that they are pro-union because what they do vote on, what they do agree is asking the Confederates to kindly get out of my state.
If both y'all won't, just you guys.
Yeah, So the Kentucky state legislature.
Now, Kentucky is
votes get out of here,
or is not currently a slave state.
They are a slave state. But at least as far as
to Maryland,
Maryland, Delaware, and St. Louis. They're all They're all slave states that have not seceded from the Union. Kentucky, at least as far as their government is concerned, is saying that we are pro-Union, we're not seceding. While we are neutral, we're now only asking that the Confederates leave and that the Union can stay. Yeah. So they're pretty much, hey, Kentucky.
Yeah, we're neutral, but we're not harboring terrorists because they're probably sitting in the same spot where Lincoln is, where it's like, not gonna pretend that you're a real country.
Yeah, not pretending you're just.
We don't want to fight. We don't want any part of this, but we're still the United States. So if you're gonna be saying you're from some other country that seceded from it, you can get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, that's essentially it. We'll see what happens in Kentucky. We'll see what happens in Missouri, and we'll see what happens in Virginia. We got 3 fairly active fronts coming up next week. Hopefully, this war. 2 weeks. It's got to be 2 more weeks. I know we got cocky with the whole before we lost that Manassas thing, but we've got the president,
ambitious, yeah.
the traitor president of the Confederacy is saying we don't have the guns to do this. So he's got to surrender, right?
He already knows.
That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and join us on Historic Hindsight, where we talk about the symbolism of flags and how awful they are, and Mother Teresa.